Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome back to what? Hey guys, welcome back to another video, or welcome to the channel. If you're new, we're filming a little bit earlier than I normally film. So for this one, we are going to be doing kind of a tree inspired look. I've been doing a lot of browsing through Instagram recently, and I came across a graphic designer that had this really cool like profile picture that was like whited out and had a tree silhouette going up the side, and I just kind of, I don't know, I have an idea that I want to try and do that's kind of like inspired by that look. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, you've seen the thumbnail, so you already know kind of how it's going to turn out, but this is how we got to what was there. My brain's not working very well this morning. If you want to see how I did all of this, stay tuned and let's dive in. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to start out by blocking out my eyebrows, because the overall vision, I don't want to do an exact replica of what they did. I'm literally just taking inspiration from it. So instead of doing like a tree like makeup look, I want to do more of like, I don't know, like an art piece, abstract, silhouette-esque, kind of like a scene. Do I even make sense? Enough talking, because I'm failing at that really hard, because that's new. Alright, let's get these glued down. It's not going to be super important to like cover the color of these as much as I want to get the texture down and like out of the way. That's kind of my main goal of this, because I don't want the hair strokes, not hair strokes. Boy, this is going to be a struggle today. The hair pieces, I don't want the texture of them. I don't know why I did. What did I do over there? Why did I like group them all together? That's not what I was supposed to do. It's gonna be entertaining. I think I cut my eyebrows in a really weird shape last time. This is proving that. So while the glue kind of dried, I went ahead and started trying to cover up this. Seeing myself without my tattoos and being, you know, super pale and my face not matching is really weird. It's a very strange feeling. I will say this. I am insanely impressed with e.l.f.'s concealer. This is just their 16-hour camo concealer. Now, I am using the shade Fair, which clearly is not the shade for my skin. I use this one to highlight and whatnot, but because I'm going to be taking all of this white, I went with the lighter shade to kind of try and cover it so that we can get as close as possible to a pure white as we can. I'm going to put that lock of concealer right onto my face as well, just to bring everything kind of together here. Clearly forgot that I glued my eyebrows down there. Almost tried to lift the glue. That would have been smart. Would have been so smart. I'm not really too concerned overall with like crazy good coverage or anything like that. I really am just trying to kind of like even out my skin tone and kind of put a base down. Oh yeah, and this nonsense again. That difference. It's fine. It's totally my skin color. My tan is a huge part of why I decided that I was going to go in with the concealer first, because using a water-based paint to try and cover up my like tan and get rid of all that warmth, I feel like would have been a nightmare. Kind of like how I look right now, just because I want to. This is the Kat Von D like white concealer-esque stuff. I'm just going to use it to kind of like brighten these areas, not that you really have to. Like I said, we are going to be going over this with like actual white paint, body paint, not legit white paint. Don't put acrylic on your face or on your skin, anywhere, not just your face. I am going to clean this brush because it is the one that I actually want to use to apply the white paint. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm actually just going to start out by completely painting my face white, taking a brief pause because the guys outside were saying something weird, but moving on. So when you are trying to paint your face, the best way to kind of go about it is doing like X shaped, and that's going to kind of cause you to have the best opacity when you are applying such like translucent color, if you will. And taking another moment just to see that, well, we're starting to look a little bit like Michael Myers and a little less like porcelain. So you guys can kind of see that I am using those like diagonal strokes to kind of try and make it as opaque as I possibly can, although I will admit I am not the best with water-based paints yet. You can still tell that there's some translucency to it. So as you can kind of see there, I am grabbing the Kat Von D concealer, the very, very white one. I'm going to actually prime my eyes with that. And then I am actually going to go into Jeffree Star's palette, and I'm going to use the shade Deathblow, which is the white, and I'm going to actually set that concealer. And once we've got that done, I am grabbing the gray paint from the Graftobian set there, and we're going to start making our clouds, which I'm doing this literally just by kind of like dabbing a rounded brush, and I'm just making the shapes of clouds. Best way I can kind of advise to do it is make kind of a line and just do like almost like a bubble shape as you're going along for it. And right after we finish up with that, I am grabbing the black Graftobian paint, and I'm kind of mixing the two to come up with like a darker gray, making some areas black as well, and just darkening up the like bottom parts of the clouds, the parts that might be behind each other, and just adding depth to them overall. And then I'm going to actually grab the shade Wednesday from the Cremated palette, and we're going to go and put that directly onto the lids, and then I'm actually going to take that and I'm going to start shading some of the clouds and softening up some of those edges just to make sure that they're not too harsh. And of course giving myself a nod of approval, as I wasn't really planning to do that, I just wasn't quite happy with how the clouds looked, so we were figuring it out. And then I'm actually going to grab the shade RIP from that palette as well, and then basically doing what we did with the black mixture of the paint. I'm just darkening up some more areas, adding in a couple more clouds where I think that it's missing a little bit, and just literally adding, again, more depth to the overall look. And still grabbing that same color, I'm actually going to create kind of like a cloud shape on the lash line, and then bring it up a little bit through like the outer corner and then up into the lid. I'm actually going to grab a NYX white waterproof liner, and I'm going to put that right on my waterline just to kind of open up the eye and hold that kind of look. And with a little bit of contemplation, I decided I wanted my eyelashes to be white, so I just used a mascara primer for that. And then we're actually going to start making this tree. So I'm just kind of sketching out the general idea of where I kind of want the roots and whatnot to be, place the trunk, and then basically just filling all of this in. Just remember, everything is not going to be symmetrical. Just make some wavy lines. Nothing's going to be really perfectly straight for it. And worst case, look up a reference like I did, and then you have something to kind of go off of. And then once I do have like the basic shape of that, and then everything's all filled in, I'm just going to go in and do some small detail work for it, adding in some random little small roots that are going to branch off and just fill that empty space that doesn't quite look right, and I'm just going to give it a better feel overall. So we're going to bring the tree kind of up onto our face now. I personally decided that I wanted the branches to follow the shape of my jawline just to kind of keep that shape, and then have one coming directly up the center and kind of branching off from there. I did take one branch and I actually drew it out over my ear just to kind of keep that flow for the entire thing. And of course, mind my random talking, I had a wild fiance pop into the room to come visit me while I was doing this. Basically same as the roots, once I have the general shape, I just start going in and kind of filling in some details. When you're making branches, I kind of stopped and then started making where like knots were in the tree and just like branching them out from there, and then going in and adding more branches, small little details, same exact thing as I did with the roots. And finally adding in our little crows and birds like that. Decided that I wanted to put some right up the forehead like I had planned, and then with a little bit more thought I decided I was going to put some in between the branches just to kind of make it look like you're going to see through it. And of course, changed my mind, decided that black lashes were the way to go. Didn't like the white, it had a better feel. And then I went back to adding in more birds because my neck, let's face it, was kind of empty. Needed some more down there, so I was like, you know, let's put some more birds. Wasn't satisfied even with that, and decided that I was going to make it have some like clouds down there. So grabbing RIP again, I just literally went back in with the eyeshadow brush, put some like shadows and clouds like over my collarbone, and basically tried to make it look like the tree is floating. Alright guys, this is going to finish it up for me. If you did like this look, remember to hit like for me. If you're new, hit subscribe, and remember to ring the bell and select all so you do get notified of when I post new videos. Check out my social media, especially TikTok, if you want to see some fun little videos and things like that. I am going to try and get to be more active and do more like fun little voiceovers and things like that. And Instagram is where you'll get to see the fun photos that come from these kind of looks. I can't speak English. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are typically when I'm going to try and start posting for them. Hopefully, you guys have a lovely day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!